The nation's oldest and longest-serving juvenile offender is free tonight after being released from prison last week. Joe Ligon was 15 years old in 1953 when he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder in Philadelphia. He was sentenced to life without parole. In the end, he served 68 years behind bars. To put that in perspective, when he went in, Harry Truman was president and the polio vaccine was under development. I spoke with Ligon's attorney, Bradley Bridge, this week about his client, his case, and what it says about the criminal justice system. Bradley Bridge, thank you so much for your time tonight. Tell us, first of all, for folks who are not familiar with Joe's story, this case and what happened.
Joe Ligon was convicted of 2 murders in 1953. He was found guilty and given a mandatory life without parole sentence. That sentence was ultimately ruled unconstitutional by the United States Supreme Court in 2016. We went before a judge in 2017, and the judge changed his sentence from a mandatory life without parole to a sentence of 35 years to life. 35 years means he'd be eligible for parole immediately. He chose not to seek parole because it was his vision that he had served long enough. At that point, he was like 65 years in prison, and he refused to seek parole. As he had refused to seek clemency back in the 70s. Ultimately, I vindicated what it was that he wanted, which was to get out without being on parole by challenging the mandatory parole term that the judge placed on him at sentencing.
Joe was 15 years old when this robbery and assault happened and 2 people were killed. What was his role in all of that, and what did he share with you over the years?
Well, I'm not going to tell you what he shared with me over the years, but I will tell you what I read from the trial transcript from 1953. He still had it in his possession. What it shows is a group of kids. Joe did not know the kids particularly well. They were from a different school and not necessarily from his neighborhood. He knew only some of them by nicknames. But the group of kids, 5 or so in number, came down to the center city of Philadelphia, pooled their nickels and dimes together, bought a bottle of wine, drank it, got drunk, had no more money, wanted more wine, had several knives, and a group of kids went through the city and stabbed about 8 people, 2 people of which died. Joe admitted at the time that he'd stabbed some people, as one of them had testified against him at the hearing in 1953 in June. That person obviously did not die. Joe was responsible for what he had done, but he's not responsible for what the other people had done. So in actuality, he's guilty of an assault and robbery, but nothing more. But was found guilty of the mandatory life without parole sentence because he was found guilty of 2 murders.
You have mentioned 68 years of incarceration for your client. What does that say about our justice system and our criminal justice system and our prisons in the United States?
Well, it says different things about the criminal justice system, and it says something different about the prison. So let me answer each of them. What it says about the criminal justice system is that we over-incarcerate people. We keep them in prison for far, far too long. The people that are found guilty of crimes need to pay a penalty for what it was that they did, but they shouldn't overpay for what it was that they did. That does 2 things that are harmful. First, it costs extra money for society. Keeping somebody like Joe Ligon in prison each year probably costs over $100,000 a year to keep him incarcerated. We probably spent multiple millions of dollars in his incarceration. At some point beyond which, since if he's paid the price that would be appropriate for the crimes, continuing incarceration just wastes money, and it wastes lives. Joe Ligon is getting out now. He's 83 years old. He has no chance and will have no opportunity to recidivate. He's not going to commit any more crimes. That would have been true at 73, would have been true at 63. So we spent additional decades keeping him in prison, and that costs all of us money, and it wastes people's lives when they get out there. They're just going to be old, and that's really just not helpful. That's the impact on the criminal justice system.
Have you or Joe heard from the victims or the loved ones or extended family of the victims of that crime back all those years ago?
We have not. When we do the juvenile life or resentencing hearings, the prosecutor's office goes out of their way to try to track down and find all the people that are related to the people that were killed when the crime occurred. In this particular case, the Commonwealth was unable to do so because the crime arose in 1953.
Bradley Bridge, thank you for your time.
You're quite welcome. Thank you. Good day.
Good day to you. Take care.